Hey, you guys, this is the Couplings Fire podcast. Here's a couple of things you might need to know, or maybe you just forgot. I'm Taylor, a volunteer firefighter and also a firewife to my favorite firefighter. Join me as I talk anything and everything fire related. I don't claim to be an expert, I just love to talk fire, and everything I say is my own opinion. My goal? To inspire anyone listening to take the steps to bettering their department, however they can. Let's get on to the episode. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Couplings Fire podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Anderson, and I don't know, I feel really chipper today, even though what I'm going to be talking about isn't necessarily a chipper topic. And I don't try to do these very often, but it seems like here lately they just keep coming up. And I keep pushing off, because you guys, if you've been listening for a few episodes now, I was supposed to do an episode called Spreading Out the Responsibilities. I was planning on it a few weeks ago, and I keep pushing it off. And guess what? It's going to get pushed off again. And not because I'm wanting to, because I really want to do that episode. I think it's going to be a good one, but there's some other stuff that's more important to me at this moment, and I like talking about stuff when I'm passionate about it, when I actually have a lot of feelings about it, and it's almost like my body can't keep it in anymore. I have to talk about it somewhere to somebody, and those people just happen to be you. So you guys will have to wait probably a couple more weeks, because I'm hoping to have another guest on next week, but you have to wait a couple more weeks for that episode. I swear it's coming. It'll come someday. It might be the long-running joke of it may never happen. I don't know. But I really want to talk about this subject today. Before I get into it, I do want to run over some housekeeping things. First off, I am beyond excited. We have the Les Lukert Winter Conference happening in Kearney, Nebraska next week. Like, what? It's a week away? Are you kidding? Like, I don't know. I'm excited for it. It's been a lot of planning, a lot of work. These conferences take a lot more work than what I thought. I've always looked at it from the outside in, and I don't know, I didn't know what to think. And now that I'm helping with one, I see it. I see all the behind the scenes things. I see how much work actually goes into it, the care and passion that the board, that any board has putting one together. It's a lot of work. And so if you have a local conference near you, you do, I'm sure you have something. Take a moment to go and thank those who actually put it together. Those who take the time to find the instructors, to do the marketing, to do the setup, to deal with the places that you're actually renting space from, to have it in, putting all that together, getting a good quality training set up for you guys, because it is not easy. And for the conferences I've gone to in the past and the conferences I plan to go to, thank you so much for putting in this work. It is not lost on me. Anyway, so that is coming up in Kearney, Nebraska, February 4th through 6th. There is still time to sign up if you'd like to be there. Just go to www.nsfsi, that's the Nebraska Society of Fire Service Instructors.com. You can find all the info there to sign up for it, but we'd love to have you. And if this year doesn't work out, we hope to plan on you for future years. It is always the first full weekend of February, and I will be releasing the dates, let you guys know the dates for that for next year once this one gets over with. So anyways, so that's coming up. I'm really excited to meet people there. It's always a good time. So going on to the next thing I got, talking about the wedge program. I'm going to get honest with you guys. I have been not so great at this. Like, I thought it was going to be not easy, but I thought I was going to be able to do it pretty easily. I knew it would challenge me, but at the same time, like, oh, I can do this easily, right? Like, I can make this happen. And I think the same thing happened to me that happens to a lot of us when we have goals, when we have things that we work on. Life gets in the way. Things get in the way. We can't control circumstances that come in to put us to a halt sometimes. And for me, that was getting sick. I was sick a few weeks ago, and it kind of screwed up a lot of stuff. I had to cancel some interviews I had with people for the podcast. You guys heard me 2 weeks ago, just sounding all sorts of terrible, right? And that hindered me. It really did. Now, I kept up with my devotionals every day, and I still have done that. And granted, I did miss 1 or 2 days, but I made them up. But otherwise, I've been keeping up with those really easily. And even with the size up reports and first assignments, um, I've been doing pretty good with that. I haven't. Oh, the first week that I was sick, I didn't get the full 2 hours in. I did have tack on an extra half hour too last week, and then again, I only did 2 hours last week. I wasn't able to two and a half. So I'm gonna have to tack on another half hour to this week. Um, so it's a little bit more than I thought, and honestly, there's sometimes I should just make myself do it. I should just either get up earlier or stay up a little bit later or spread it out between more days so it's less time commitment at one time. There's times where I'm watching a TV show with Chris for a little bit to decompress where I could swap out one of the 2 episodes of TV with a half hour of size up instead. That's not hard to do, but it's hard for us to do, isn't it? It is. It is. And I'm seeing it, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating that I'm this way and I don't like it. And it's going to take decisive action on my part. I'm going to have to make myself do it. That's the only way it works. I can't anticipate, I can't hope that there's going to be motivation there every time. There's not. There's not going to be. And so going on to the third goal that I had for the month for this wedge program, it was the doing 10 push-ups. Guess what? This one has been going so sucky, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. It's funny, I'm laughing. But I was doing so good at it to begin with, right? And I improved so much from the first week to the second week. It was amazing. And guess what? Then I got sick. And I know I keep saying that and I keep blaming it on that, but you know what? That shouldn't have stopped me. Yes, that should have stopped me for a couple of days to get better or however it is. Yes. But what have I done since then? I've been slacking and I shouldn't be. It shouldn't be happening and I know that. And it's stuff where I could have easily done a few push-ups, again, take out a half hour TV, do that. It's not hard. It's easy. Why do we in our brains do that to ourselves? Why do we do that to ourselves? I don't know. So now I have less than a week till the end of the month. You guys are listening to this on Friday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. And I'm hoping I can still make my goal. I don't know, I'm hoping. But at the same time, if I can still make my goal at this point with slacking off, did I really make a good enough goal for myself then? Did I actually push myself far enough? I can't say in all good faith that I did then, right? If I can actually accomplish it. I don't know. I don't know. There's just different ways to take that, I guess, but because yeah, I guess I didn't know that I could even do it, so it's kind of nice to be like, oh, I can prove to myself I can do it, but goals should challenge us, right? And if I can slack off for a couple weeks and still complete my goal, I don't feel right about it. I don't. So I'm getting real today. I'm putting this podcast out and doing some other work on pictures and things for my job, and then I will be doing some push-up stuff, doing some size up, and finding other things to do around the house and just catching up. Which kind of then I guess leads me into the next little thing for it's not really housekeeping, I guess, but one more thing about the wedge program. That group we have on Instagram has been great. It really has. It has helped so much, and I could see that I wouldn't have even been getting to this point without them. And definitely thank Bill Dungy for actually putting this together and putting a group together to actually do it and keeping it consistent, and I really appreciate that, and I'd like to give this another go for a different month. Honestly, I'll probably take February off because February looks to be extremely busy for me, which is nice. It's nice, but I want to take some time for some other stuff first before I go back to doing this wedge program again. So maybe I'll take February off and then either try it again in March or April or something. Or if I do it in February, maybe just do smaller goals or something, which again, are they challenging you? Yes. I don't know. I don't know how to work this yet, but I'll probably take a little bit of a break from it. But so that leads me into the next thing where so Chris is on shift now, right? He's got done with academy. He graduated amazing. He's doing so good at it. He loves it. He went through his first set and went through his Kelly days, and holy crap, like it is an adjustment. The way his schedule works out, he ends up getting a week off after every set. It's great. I love it. And most people expect me to say, "Oh, it's great, but you're ready for me to go back to work." Well, actually, no. I'm not. Having him go back into his set days after his Kelly days, right? It was hard. I got used to him being gone every other night, right? And it was difficult. It was. I got used to it. It got easier as it went on. And after that time, it's like, okay, I finally got used to it. And then he was home for a week. And it was weird. It was really weird, right? Because I got so used to him being gone every other day and having to get used to that. And it's just, then he's home. Okay, that's great. And well, the biggest thing right now is what do we do when he's home? Like when do I work? I know that sounds stupid, but if you own your own business, yeah, you work every day and things like that. But like, if you can move your schedule around, do I work extra days on the days he's on shift? So do I kind of forego even the weekend and just make every day he's on shift my actual work days too, and just make them longer so that the days he's off, I take advantage of that? Do I keep normal work hours? I don't know. And me being able to kind of run my own schedule, I can make these decisions as long as, it makes sense for the projects I have, right? I can't like completely let something go and not work on it for a couple weeks, right? Like that's not going to happen. But I don't know, it's been so hard, like how do I know it sounds stupid, but how do I put together a workout routine? I know that sounds stupid. You're like, well, you work out. I know, but you know what? It is actually hard to work out when Chris is home. It is. It is hard to get that motivation to do it and to kind of send him off to do something else or whatever while I work out. And you could say we could work out together, and yeah, we probably could, but I mean, I love doing my dance cardio stuff, right? And I'll walk on the treadmill and watch something or listen to something while I do it. And it's not necessarily stuff we can do together a lot. And we're starting to get into more of other types of working out that we can do together, but I don't know, it's different. So it's hard to do that together. So, just I want to spend time with him. He's actually home. So I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So let's do something. It's tough to find a workout routine. I don't know. And I asked this to some friends and I think they got confused. Well, I didn't really say it in the best way either. Because I was talking about putting together a schedule, and I didn't really mean a schedule, because when people hear schedule, it's like, how do I put together a schedule for this? They hear, well, you put a calendar on the fridge. You do Google Calendar so you know what each other's doing, and that's how you keep track of each other. Well, that's not what is hard for me right now. It's not hard for me to keep track of what each other's doing. It's hard for me to set something up that makes sense. To set something up that can almost go, I don't know, just seem like normal. I mean, people have their routines of, Monday through Friday work and the weekend off, and like maybe Tuesday, Thursday they do this type of exercise. Monday, Wednesday, Friday they do this, and every Tuesday they have something, and like for them it's a good routine. They know what's happening every day and it's the same thing every week. How do I put that together with this type of cycle where he gets a week off after every set? I don't know. It's a little frustrating. And I just feel like I just almost get lost in vacation mode when he's home, which is great because it's like, this is awesome. We actually finally get to spend time together, right? We didn't get this when he had his 9 to 5 job, right? This is something completely new. We have the freedom to do stuff. I should be enjoying it, and I am. But like, how do I put together a routine that makes sense, something that feels good to me that my body's going to get used to. I don't know. So if anybody out there has something that works for them, or like if they have a weird routine like this where their firefighter is off for, or like you as a firefighter, or like your, if you're a spouse, you're a firefighter, however it works, if you have a routine that works for you where you have extended days off like I do, it doesn't have to be a week, but like, do you have 4 days off? Do you have 5, 6 days off, right? Like, how does it look for you? And how do you build a routine into that works? I want tips, I want tricks, I want everything. I want advice. I'm craving the advice right now because this is tough. I mean, like I said, overall, like it's going great. He's loving work, and I'm so happy for him doing it. He has a great crew, great station. He loves his fire department he's with, and I love it too. Like it's really good right now. Really good right now. I just don't know how to work around it. So, that is kind of that. It's a little bit of an update of what's been going on with those portion of things. And that's really, I mean, I think I've talked about this before. That's really what I'm trying to do here on this podcast. I want to talk to you guys about my life, but not to be selfish or just talk about me, but because I know somebody else out there either has gone through this before or will be going through it or is going through it now. And I don't know, things that are happening to me are not unique, right? These problems have been around for forever. These thoughts have been in people's minds for forever. And if I talk about it, these little things that are happening with me, hopefully something resonates with you, or if your spouse feels this way, I don't know, maybe this is a way you can help talk to them about it. Maybe you're finally going to see it from their side. Because it is hard to talk about, right? I talk about it with Chris and stuff and how hard it is, and he doesn't, he kind of understands, right? Kind of, like, but not really, right? There's no way to really get it. There's only so much explaining I can actually do on the subject. I don't know, I hope this is getting out to somebody who needs to hear it today, and that going through the journey of everything I go through in life, something hits you that you need to hear, right? That's what I want. At the beginning of this episode, the intro to every episode, I mentioned, my goal is to inspire anyone listening to better their department in whatever way they can. And I think it's starting to shift my focus. I mean, yeah, of course, I want you to better your department. Yes, but I think I'm more focused now on bettering yourself. On bettering yourself not just for sake of the fire department. Of course, yes, we're going to talk about a lot of that a lot of times, but bettering yourself in your life in general, bettering yourself and your relationship with your spouse. It's probably more about relationships, honestly. I'm a big one. I thrive on relationships. I thrive on good communication. I thrive. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use, but that plays a big part. Because you can have a stellar fire department that you work or volunteer for, but if you don't have good relationships within that fire department, if people aren't treating each other right or communicating right, that department is not going to be very good for you. It might be good for other people, right? Like, there's not saying that one department is seen bad by everybody, right? There's usually people who love and people who don't. And you just need to find your space. And I don't know, basically, with all of that, relationships can make or break everything. You can have a kind of sucky job, something you don't love doing, but if you have good relationships with the people you work with or your bosses, you will have a better work environment and you're going to like it more. You're going to actually enjoy coming to work even if you have kind of a sucky job, right? Those relationships make a big difference. And I've seen it. I've lived it. I'm still living it. Anywho, that kind of very loosely leads me into what we're actually talking about today. And I know this was a very long intro. I know. I'm sorry. It happens sometimes. There's a lot of stuff to get off my chest. But today, I want to go into. We're going to start it here. We're going to start talking about line of duty deaths. And this is nothing new for this week, right? I can't tell you how many podcasts are talking about this right now, how many pages on Facebook and Instagram and news sites and things are talking about line of duty deaths right now. And it's honestly, because a big one happened. And, there were, for those of you who don't know, if you haven't heard about it yet, there were 3 firefighters of Baltimore City Fire Department that died on Monday morning, so January 24th. And they went into a building to fight a fire, and there was a building collapse. 3 of them died. One of the crew members got injured. As far as I know today, he's doing better. And I'm sorry if I say any of these names wrong or incorrectly pronounce them wrong. I don't mean anything by it, but I want people to know who they were. So they were firefighter paramedic Kelsey Sadler, firefighter paramedic Kenneth Lacayo, and Lieutenant Paul Buttram. And that's what's got everybody talking right now. That's what's got everyone thinking. I can't go on Instagram without seeing post upon post upon post and Instagram stories talking about it, and people going into their thoughts on things. And the biggest one that's been hitting me lately was someone put a post out about, take the crew picture. Even if people think it's stupid or whatever, take the picture, because you never know when it's going to be the last one. And there've been other line of duty deaths happening lately. It seems like, and I don't know for a fact, but it seems like they've been happening more often within the last couple months. And, part of that can be because it's wintertime and it's cold and there are more structure fires and things of that nature. That could be part of it. Who knows? It could just be the way things are trending. And I hate it. And I'm going to be very blunt and honest. And I hope you don't take this the wrong way. But I've always been sad about it when I hear it, of course. It's something that shouldn't happen. It is something you feel very sorry for the department and their families for. But that's always been about it. I've always just felt sad, and it sucks, and I don't know what to say. And it happens, right? But this one hit me differently. And I'm wondering if it's because of a conversation I actually had on the podcast last week. Well, I think it might be from a couple things, but it includes the conversation I had on the podcast last week with Nick Higgins. We got into the family firefighter survival section at the end. And we were talking about how his wife didn't necessarily love the risks, wasn't necessarily happy with him taking the risks. Of course, she's going to let him do it and whatnot, but she is scared. And that's the way a lot of spouses get. And then this happens. And I now have a husband who's doing this full time. It's not just volunteer anymore. He is on shift a third of the days of the month, right? And this could happen easily. A lot more likely to happen than when he was just a volunteer with me. And it's rough to think about. It is rough to think about. Because not once before have I ever really worried about it. Never. I've never thought, hey, we're going to this house fire or whatever, and something could go wrong. We're going to this grass fire, and the wind could shift the wrong way, and something could go wrong. Even though he's had close calls. Chris has had some close calls. I should have been worried then, but I never was until now. And I think it just became more real to me. And like I said, it sounds stupid. I know. I know. It sounds like I'm being selfish, and it sounds like I have been selfish and I haven't been thinking of other people. And you know what? That is normal. I think it's normal. I hope it's normal. I don't know. I think it's normal to be kind of selfish and to not always think about it, and to, of course, like I said, of course, have sympathy and things for the departments and the firefighters and the families and the community, of course. But it's never really meant more than that to me until now. And I'm seeing myself starting to get scared. And so thinking about to the last week's episode, talking about how to help, your spouse kind of be less scared about it or whatever. And, Nick was saying how he just kind of goes over more with his wife so that she's more knowledgeable. She knows what the gear and tools can do, she knows some more of the technical about it. Not a lot, but more. And that's a great way to do it. But you know what? I know all of that. I know all of that. I think I actually know the more than Chris and some of the stuff, especially with the gear and stuff, right? But that doesn't make it any easier on me right now when I'm thinking about this. And here lately, always. Always. You can do everything right. You can be in the best shape. You can do your tactics completely correctly, and things still go wrong. You can't control everything. And that adds a whole nother level of fear. And so I'm searching for ways, because it's not just with Chris, right? Of course I worry for him, but I'm even thinking to myself, oh my gosh, something could even happen to me when I go out and volunteer and go on something. Something could happen to my friends in the fire service all over the country when they go on shifts. I could talk to them one day on Clubhouse or one day on the phone or on Facebook or something, and the next day they could be dead because of this. And I'm trying to find ways as a firefighter, as a spouse, to deal with all this better. Because we shouldn't be afraid, right? We shouldn't be. We signed up for this. We know the risks. And you know what? Me being afraid isn't going to keep me from volunteering, isn't going to keep me from this firefighting. It's not going to keep me from, having Chris go to work, right? And doing what he loves. It's not going to keep me from that. But how do I work on it? How do we work on it? How do we help our spouses work on fear? Work on the possibility that this could happen to us. That we could be sitting down and having coffee one morning with our friends at the station. We go on a call. It's a good structure fire or a really good grass fire. And something happens. Something unexpected. No one did anything wrong. You just do it like a routine. Like it's what you do. And that happens. It's hard to wrap my head around a little bit right now. And I've never really been good about talking about death and things. I don't know. It's been one of those things that's just been weird to me, and I can't wrap my head around it. And if I think about it too much, my anxiety just starts going, and I don't know, I stop thinking about it. I was reading a post. She and her husband works at the same fire department, and they work on the same shift. And especially with Baltimore and that happening, she started thinking, me and my husband could be on the same call. We could be both inside doing this, and we could both die. How do I deal with this? What happens? Like, how do you even begin to contemplate that? And she has a child. And that's why they do the same shift, to make childcare easier. I understand. I do. I get it. I get it. It could happen in an instant and the child could be an orphan. How do you deal with that? How do you begin to think about it and plan for it and come to terms that this can happen? It shouldn't happen. This stuff shouldn't happen, but it does. As soon as it started bothering me this week, because it did, it really started to bother me. Because like I said, it hit more home right now. It was more real to me than it's ever been before. I started talking with Chris right away about it. It's like, hey, this is a problem. I'm starting to freak out. I don't want to freak out, but we need to talk. I need help getting through this. So we talked. We have a lot more talking to do. But I think that's a good first step. Letting him know what all is freaking me out and why, and how easy this could happen. And I never used to say this before. I always used to tell him for the first set, and anytime he'd go on a call or anytime he'd go to work and anything, I said, I love you, have a good day at work, or have a good shift, or whatever, right? That was the extent of it. And I'd text him throughout the day, and it was great. Fine. Since Monday, I still tell him to have a good shift and have a good day and stuff, right? Of course. But now I add, be safe. Because I think I lost sight of how dangerous this could be. And that sounds stupid because I know how dangerous it is. Because that is why I seek to learn stuff. That's why I try to find online classes, and that's why I listen to podcasts, and that's why I'm doing the size up stuff. That's why I work out. I know how dangerous this is. I do, and I don't want to be unprepared. I want to do as much for myself as I can. But overall, I think I lost sight of how much is out of our control still. And it became very real. So, that's one thing I started doing, is telling him to be safe. And I know it won't do a lot, but it's an extra thing in there. And as soon as he leaves, I pray to God for about 2 to 5 minutes. It's very simple, very laid back. Very much just asking to keep him safe and to keep his crew safe. And, I don't know, basically do what they can do to help other people, but stay safe at the same time. That's all it is. It's really easy. But I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if that's enough to ease my mind yet. Like I said, I know the technicals behind it. I know what can happen. I know what our gear is rated for. I know things we can make things better. And you know what? This isn't really a good learning episode, right? I don't really have anything tried and true. I haven't gone through this before. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going to make me feel better as a firefighter. I don't know what's going to make me feel better as a fire wife. I have no idea. Like I said, I have those couple things I started doing. I think overall the best that I can do right now is just make sure that, Chris is training. My friends are training. I'm training. We know as much as we can and we do our best. I think it's making sure that if we do fight, we do our best to resolve it before he goes back on shift. I mean, to send more cute texts back and forth, and to take more pictures together and, spend more time with the friends that I'm talking to, that I'm worried about. Spend more time with them. Do meaningful things. it's not just line of duty deaths, right? Things happen every single day, car crashes or heart attacks or whatever, and it's stuff I haven't thought about much. You know what? Like, I really haven't. I haven't known anybody who has lost their life due to a car crash. Not personally. I haven't really even known many people who've died of heart attacks or other things that are pretty quick. I've been extremely fortunate. Extremely fortunate. I know not everybody has. And so it's something new I'm trying to deal with. I feel like it's going to help by making the most of the moments that I have with the people I love. So we were heading to go see my parents on Monday, and this was after the Baltimore fire casualties, right? Um, it had come out. I've been hearing about it all day. We were gonna go see my parents for a little bit. We were just gonna pick something up and come right home. Quick, easy, dirty, get it done, whatever. And my parents asked me to stay for supper, and I love my parents. I do. I really do. And the thought went through my head first, well, there's a lot of stuff I want to do at home today. There's a lot of things I actually want to get done. I have some work I could do, like, just so much stuff that I had planned on. And I thought about it. Like, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to start. This is the perfect opportunity to spend more time with the people I love. All this other stuff, yes, it's important. Yes, it is important, but it can wait. I'm going to stay a couple extra hours at my parents' place and have supper, then go home. Then I can stay up late if I need to work on stuff, or you know what? It can wait till tomorrow. Why do we do things in life, right? Are we just doing things and doing the hustle and getting the stuff done or whatever just to keep on living before we die? That's not fun. That's not what we're meant for. That's not how I don't know. It's not how we live, right? It's just how we live. It's not how we actually enjoy life. And of course, we all have responsibilities and we all have things that need to get done. I'm not saying forego all of that for all time. But you know what? As in everything, family comes first. Family comes first. That's why the segments I do are called Family, Firefighter, Survival. It could be Firefighter, Family, Survival, right? It could be. That makes more sense when people read it out. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a firefighter family. Okay, awesome. But you know what? Family comes first. So family first. So family, firefighter, survival. It's a good explanation of that for you guys. But I had stuff to do for this Les Luker board that I'm on, right? For the conference coming up. I put it off for a day. It can wait till tomorrow. Family comes first. Can't wait for forever. It needs to get done. But it can wait till tomorrow. I had a project I had to work on and get done. Can't make it wait forever, but it can wait till tomorrow to get it done. And I know I can't do that all the time. I know I can't always forgo everything for family, but I can do it more often than I have been. And if you're anything like me, which you might be, you've been doing the same thing I have. You've been putting family off. You've been putting your friends off. You've been putting these other things that are actually supposed to be more important in your life. You've been putting it off for career advancement, for other enjoyment. Enjoyment's great, but let's stop putting stuff off. Because when you put stuff off, if you lose somebody in that time, you are going to kick yourself for it. Think I could have spent time with them and I just took it for granted and now they're gone and now I can't. That is the one thing from my friends and other people I know when they talk about someone they've lost. It usually is always led by, I should have done this with them more. I should have seen them more. I should have taken more time with them. That's what I hear. And that's what I'm going to start trying to do more. So ways to help me deal with this. There's not many right now. Spend more time with the people I love. Tell my husband and people I know I love them more often. Tell them to have a safe shift. Pray for them. Talk about it. I think it's more like anything. The more you talk about something, the more comfortable you're going to get with the uncomfortable. I'm very much uncomfortable talking about death. I really am. I have been. But I think I need to talk about it with my husband more. I think I need to talk about it with my friends more. Being on the same page with them of anything, of what it's gonna be like, of how much we're gonna miss them, of the fact that it could happen any day and you just don't know it. And not letting it be a super down and depressing time, right? When you're talking about it, but just talking about anything you need to with it. Whatever your heart is telling you to talk about with them about it. If you have this nagging thought in your head or something that needs to come out, you need to say it. You need to say it. And that's like me with this podcast today. I was going to record that other one. Like I said, I keep pushing it off. That other one, I don't know. That's what I was supposed to talk about. And this got pushed in because my body really needs to talk about it. My mind really needs to talk about it. I need to talk about it. And I think we could all use that advice. I don't know. I don't have much here anymore. Um, I'm sorry it was a depressing episode. I really wanted to talk about it though. I really needed to talk about it. About how this is hard for me. If anyone out there who's listening, if you have ways that you work with the risks with your spouse or with your family members or with your friends, ways you deal with it, ways you're prepared for it or whatever. I don't know. Whatever you have. If you have any insight on it, I'd love to know. I want to know better ways to deal with this. I want to know better ways to talk about it. Um, I'm in a unique situation where at least, like I said, I understand what's going on, but I know there's a lot of families out there, a lot of spouses who don't, and who see something like this in the headlines and see all these fire pages sharing it. And I know I'm scared, but I know they get scared more. I really want to thank you guys all for coming and listening to this, for listening to me ramble about these subjects. It means a lot to me. It does. And I'm hoping the stuff I talk about, like I said in the beginning, I hope the stuff I'm talking about resonates with somebody who needs to hear it. That's all I can hope for at this point. You know me. I'm going to keep talking about what's on my brain, and I don't know. Can't wait to see what next week brings, what the next few weeks bring. When it comes to episodes and things, I've got a lot of fun stuff actually coming up. With that Les Luker conference, I'm going to another training, and another couple weeks after that for a day. I I don't know. There's a lot of other stuff that I'm not ready to divulge yet quite, but there's a lot of stuff in the horizon really quickly coming up, and it's like a big tidal wave or like tsunami or something like that, so I can like see it coming, right? But like it's like, oh, when's it gonna hit? I can't wait for it. So I hope everybody out there has a great weekend, a great rest of your week, whatever time you're listening to this, day, night, whatever. Remember to train. Remember to learn building construction. Remember to learn fire behavior and smoke reading. And spend time with family and friends. Send a text to somebody you haven't talked to in a while and just say, hey, I'm thinking of you. Or, hey, I miss you. Let's talk for at some point, you know? Um, little things you can do to reach out mean so much to people, even if you haven't talked in years. Do something like that. See what happens. The worst thing that could happen is they don't reply, right? So why not? Yeah, talk to your spouses. Make sure they know the risks. It's a hard conversation, I know. But make sure they know the risks. Make sure they're on board for the roller coaster that is firefighting. And be open to talking with them whenever they need it. And it's not going to be so easy where it's just a one and done conversation. This is going to have to be something that's probably talked about a lot and randomly whenever it's on their brains. Us firewives are pretty interesting too. Women in general. we like subtlety, and I don't know why, but we like subtlety, and we think the people we're married to can pick up on that. That's not usually the case. But I can guarantee you that your spouse may be trying to subtly tell you, or in their way, not so subtly, but it's going to seem subtly to you, that they're worried, that they're scared, that they're upset, that whatever it is. And I don't know, I guess just try to take the time to, and the extra effort to read into what they say a little bit more sometimes, especially if they're acting a little off. You can tell when your spouse is acting a little off, or when something's not quite right. Like, you have your own little spider sense going off. If that's one thing that I think that can make a relationship better, is to cut out the subtleties. To be more open and blunt and confident about what you want to say. It makes things a lot easier. Sometimes it's hard to start, and it takes a while to get used to, but in my experiences, make things a lot easier. But keep lookout for those little clues, because they may be worried. They may have heard about this. You may have even talked to them about this happening. And they may be worried, and you might not know it. And it's better to talk about it than to let it sit and fester and grow into some seemingly crazy worry that doesn't need to be there. So, anyways, that is all I have for this week. I will try to do some happier episodes in the future. Getting back to my roots of being, I don't know, lighthearted and fun, and who I want to be, and I don't know. I don't even know where to go with this. You know what? It usually gets to this point in the episode, right? At the end, where I'm just like, I'm trying to end it, but I keep rambling, and I don't know what I'm saying. And I am there again. But I will talk to you guys all next week, either by myself or with a guest. We're going to see what happens. If you guys have any episode suggestions, please send them in. My email is couplingsfirepodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at couplingsfirepodcast. I am interested in any and all episode ideas, topic suggestions. If you have anyone that you think would be a great guest on the podcast, shout out their name to me, let me know. Other than that, I'm going to let you guys go for the week. Have a great day, night, whatever time you listen to this, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya. Thanks for coming by and listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Couplings Fire Podcast. See you next time, everybody.